Hello, this is John, host of the Prepared Mind channel. This is a channel where we discuss shit hitting the fan. We discuss politics, economics, international news, national news. We talk about social issues, anything conspiratorial, and as long as it all ties back into shit hits the fan, it all makes sense. We like to make sense of it all here. So right now, what's going on in the world? Let me turn off a distraction. There we go. What we got going on in the world is we've got pockets of shit hits the fan going on in various cities here in the United States. And let's call them hotspots, pockets or hotspots. You know, we need some kind of term that works for this to understand what's going on. So I did that video. I did it on hotspots, pockets of SHTF, and I also did a video on the hordes, right? Fucking hordes that will hunt preppers in SHTF. And then in another video, I talked about curfews. And up here, you know, this idea of curfews. What are you going to do if the governor or the mayor or the chief of police says there's going to be a curfew? Let's try and combine all this stuff and look at it together, right? In and all out, the world is done. SHTF. If the local authority tells you curfew, right, you're gonna just flip them the bird, right? You know, there's no fucking way. If you want to go outside, you're going outside, even if there's a death penalty. And let's talk about curfews, right? They can write a citation, they can arrest you, or they can kill you. You know, depending on the level of SHTF, the seriousness of what's going on, and then the threat level the police feel, right? I mean, you don't even need a curfew or an SHTF, and a cop can shoot you these days because he feels scared. And I ought to do a video on the effeminized macho police. They're macho, but they're scared of everything. And so they shoot first and ask questions later, like a bunch of girls would. But that's another topic. Let's just talk about those curfews. And then we're going to talk about how they relate to the pockets and the hotspots of SHTF. So these curfews can start coming. Let's say the riots continue, the protests continue. You know, they're going to start doing curfews. And I think that the reason the police would do that, and if I was the chief of police in a town, this is what I'd do. I would say from 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. or 6:30, whenever sunrise is, there will be a curfew in place. No one is allowed on the street in these areas. And then the police could go in and patrol, and they could remove anyone who's outside, arrest them and charge them, you know, get them off the street, and kind of eliminate this crazy protester thing. Because right now the crazy protesters are doing these things. They are raping people. They are assaulting people. They are murdering people. They are destroying public property. They are destroying businesses. They are destroying private property. It's not just about having their voices heard. It's not about crying that they didn't win the election through Hillary. What they're doing is they're committing criminal acts. They are acting like shit it's the fan marauders. That's what they're acting like. They are destroying businesses and going in and looting them, right? They're enriching themselves at the expense of another because there's the appearance of lawlessness. Even though there isn't full-on shit it's the fan, there's still people that are willing to go out and commit acts of lawlessness, looting, stealing, assaulting people and taking their shit. They're taking out their unhappiness on others. So you as a prepper, what do you want to do? Are you going to stay inside your house in a curfew? Or, you know, one of the ways that you need to decide what you're going to do is, do you need information? Do you already have all the information you need? If you think you have all the information you need, then there's no reason to go out. But if you need information, what are your reliable sources? Well, you got the news media on television. Odds are the protesters, these hordes of protesters, aren't going to tell the media what their plan is. The police, they can take a good guess at what the protesters are going to do next, but I don't think the protesters are going to go tell the police what criminal acts they're going to commit next. So how do you find out? You're a prepper. You live either in or around these areas, these hotspots of shit hitting the fan, these pockets of shit hits the fan. You live in and around them, so you want that information. It's vital for you. You feel like you need it. So what's the best way for you to go get it? This is where being the Grayman could really come in handy, because it's not total mayhem. It's not kill or be killed on the street, right? Even though it's happening, it's not super common. But if you're blending into the protester crowd, this might be a good chance for you to look around and observe it, see what they dress like. Maybe you could. If it were me, I would want that information. I would probably grab a kid somewhere and pay him money and say, go find out what the fuck is going on. I'll give you a $20 bill. Send that fucking kid off, right? I got a mercenary doing my recon for me. You know, I'm sure he's not going to ask, what do you want to know? I'd say, because I want to know, you little fuck. Go do it, you know, or don't. But if I was young enough and I could probably fit into the crowd, I'd throw on a hoodie, right? Tuck the weapon in the belt and go out and take care of that. I'm not recommending anyone tuck a weapon in their belt unless you have a concealed weapons permit. But I'm not going to tell you what to do, yes or no. Just a little suggestion of what I would do. I would go gray and I would go out and I'd recon. I'd talk to as many people as I could quietly. Hey man, what are we doing next? I would become one of them. What are we doing next? Right? And I know who they're upset at. They're upset with Trump. Yeah, that fucking Trump, you know, I would talk shit. Yeah, he needs the this and the that and a beep, beep, beep and a bleep, bleep. I don't even want to say the fucking words because he's president-elect. But these clowns do, and they would want to hear that. They would want to know that you're in with them, that you have a shared solidarity. And I would want to get that information. I would want to get that information, so I would go out. And the protesters know what they're doing. They don't just walk around and accidentally all do the same fucking thing. They get together and meet. They discuss what they're going to do next. And I'm sure that a lot of it is organic. Say there's a group of 20 or 30 people or 40. Someone throws a brick through the store window, and the rest go, fuck it, the window's broke now, we might as well go in and start stealing everything. I'm sure that's what the groupthink is. But I would want to find out what other plans they have, what other things they've discussed. Because what I wouldn't want to happen is I wouldn't want them to start looking at businesses and then start looking, well, you know, we've got no reason not to go house to house and start fucking with people. Start throwing bricks and rocks through their windows. I would want to know what the plans are. So I would go gray and try and infiltrate. That's what I would want to do. Now I did my video, the Hordes will hunt preppers and shit hits the fan. What happens, say, if the cops start using tear gas on them? Or there's small numbers of people who fire back at the police, which is becoming more common these days. People are not afraid to shoot at police the way they used to be. They don't respect the police because the police do not respect them. There's an issue going back and forth. The lawless do not respect law, and the people who are in charge of the law don't respect the law. Not the way they should. So I don't buy either side's story 100%, but I do know we have a problem. So what if the Hordes decided they wanted to go door to door and get weapons from people? You would want to know that, wouldn't you? And as far as when my video, the Hordes will hunt preppers in SHTF. Well, I had a lot of people comment, they can't organize. They wouldn't know what the hell they're doing. You know, you can't get groups 25, 50, 100 people doing all the same thing. Well, I think they've already shown that they're very capable and very willing of getting together in large groups, forming plans, agreeing on it, then executing it. What I'm not saying is that they're organized and well-trained, right? They're not a well-regulated militia. But they are very dangerous. And stupid, even though it gets them killed a lot, also allows them to ignorantly overrun all good senses and get themselves into more trouble. And we don't want to be on the receiving end of that trouble if they were to manage to overwhelm us with their stupidity. You know, never underestimate the power of stupid. It's dangerous. So looking at these hotspots of shit hitting the fan because of these protests, I see all sorts of potential, all sorts of variables. And I think I did in my video that I called Pockets of SHTF. These pockets, these hotspots can grow and they can encompass. That's why I said if you're outside of one, you're still going to want to know, because it could grow to encompass your area. In the Pockets of SHTF, I also talked about, or in other videos, what happens if these protesters start doing things bigger than taking out a supermarket or a business. What if they want to take transformers out off of power lines, throwing chains over them and shorting them out, and popping them? What if they find a substation that's near them and take it out? Or what if the police or the commissioner or the governor says, take that neighborhood down, de-energize it, take their food, take their electricity, take their water away from them. We need to get them under containment. At that point, you've got a hot spot of shit, it's the fan, and they're being denied food, water, electricity, gasoline, and whatever it takes for them to survive. Now you've got gangs, marauders, or hordes of people who are of like mind, who are operating and acting together in unison. Now you have the exact scenario I described. Even though it's not national or international, total chaos and bedlam, now you've got a situation where you've got organized hordes, denied of their resources, who are hungry, pissed off, thirsty, and they're going to want weapons. What do you think they're going to do? Door to door to door, getting food, getting water, finding out what resources are available, and then claiming them by right because they're pissed off. How many days will it take? 2 days, 3 days? Will they just give up and lay on the ground and start crying? Or will they start assaulting common, average, decent people? They've already shown they're willing to blame anybody, as a Trump supporter, as they lash out at others. And if they were to happen upon a prepper, let me pose this to you. If they happened upon a prepper, knocked on his door, hey, Mr. Smith, open up, right? And you answer the door with a gun pointing in their face. They're going to think you're a Republican because you got a gun and you must be a right-wing lunatic who voted for Trump. They're going to come after you. What if they see a garbage can full of food wrappers? Hey, Mr. Smith, you got food. Let us have some. That's that prepper food. That's that Armageddon food. We want it. Right now they think that you're a Trump supporter and they're going to come after you. They see anything at your house that would indicate you're prepared. They're going to realize that not only one, do you have stuff that they want, but you're probably one of those right-wing guys, those survivalists, those preppers. Now they see you as the enemy. They're going to want to take you out. Now you've got an organized mob, a horde, torches and pitchforks. They're going to come after you. You're going to want that intel. You're going to want that intel in a hot spot, shit, it's the fan. And if there's a curfew, you have to decide whether you want to ignore it, regardless of what the penalty level is. You're going to have to decide whether you need to be armed, how you're going to be armed. You need to decide ahead of time. If you're going to be armed, you're going to pull that fucking thing if you get in trouble, if you feel threatened. And if you pull that gun, that sidearm, that rifle, that shotgun, because you feel threatened, you better be willing to use it. Because if you don't, someone's going to take it from you and they're going to use it on you, and then they're going to use it to hurt other people. So there's a lot of personal responsibility in being in a shit it's the fan disaster area, a hotspot, a pocket of shit. Fuck, everyone is calling and just picking on me on my lunch. It's crazy. So that's what I'm saying. These hotspots of shit, it's the fan. These protesters, they are the mobs, the hordes. They're fucking zombies. They're brain dead zombies running around, and they're pissed off. And we can have a bad situation go volatile and then deadly in a matter of minutes. We never know. So the best thing you can do is be prepared. And if you feel it's bad enough and you can, bug out. Get out of there. And in a regional or a small regional, the hot spots of shit it's the fan, you can get out and go check into a hotel 10 miles away. It's not worth your life unless you think it's worth your life and you want to make a stand. Maybe you're one of those militant hardcore prepper types and you want the practice. You think you can do that? Stay in that area without getting yourself in trouble? There's a lot of risk there. I do know that a lot of country folk, a lot of other people say, bring those fucking protesters to my neighborhood and my town and they'll find out how welcome they are. And I think these protesters know it, and they stay in areas where they can push people around and get away with it. So, this is John, host of the Prepared Mind channel. I want to, again, thank you for subscribing. Share this video with your friends if you think it's important. Share it as a training tool, an exercise for the mind. You can have all the guns and food and water you need, but if you don't have a good plan, if you don't know what's going on and what to expect and what to do, then you need to figure it out because you're in big trouble. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours prepared? Have a good day.